All right, good afternoon. Today is day 15 of 44 days of transforming grief. So if this is the first time you're listening to this, my name is Andrea Hylen. I am the founder of Heal My Voice, and I made a commitment to speak about transforming grief every day for 44 days and to share a link to a radio show that was hosted in 2010, where 27 guests came on to a show that I hosted, and I did 17 of the shows by myself. So the link I'm going to share today, it has the title of Saying Goodbye to a Home and Other Endings. I moved 12 times by the time I was 15 years old. My dad was in the Marines when I was born, and then he got a job with Pillsbury, and every promotion meant a move to a new territory. So many of the moves were when I was really little, and then I went to a different school every 2 or 3 years. I know as we're thinking about this whole idea of moving. Hi, Charles Sanjoy, that I wanted to just share that I had to go through my own process of healing these losses of moving when I was younger. And I've noticed in the last 10 years there seems to be an increase on people experiencing foreclosure or having a loss that means that they need to move because they were dependent on someone else's income, or they had to move to another location to get support in raising a child, all kinds of different reasons. I know that in 2010, I was affected by someone else's bankruptcy that wiped out all of my life savings. And so I found myself for 2 years on the verge of eviction and then finally being evicted. So I understand the grieving and loss of that, the, helplessness in a sense, the frustration and not knowing what to do. So these are all feelings to explore, to allow yourself to feel, and to go through a process of healing with that and reclaiming the personal power that's tied up in that kind of defeat in your life. There's also a place that I recommend when you are moving that you take some time to honor what happened in the house that you were living in, all of the experiences that you had, whether it was for a short time or a long time. And I'll give you an example. In my second marriage, my husband and I lived in a house for 9 years. And after 9 years, we finally found our dream house. Now, this dream house had 3 stories, 3 falling down ceilings, 27 boarded up windows. But it was on a piece of land, 3.5 acres. And we decided to take on the project of renovating that house by ourselves. We hired people to do a few things like install the 27 windows, but we repaired it. We breathed life into that house again. But when we were ready to leave the house we had lived in for 9 years, I took the time to really grieve the letting go of that house. Because even though we were moving to a place we really wanted to move to, there was a lot of life that had happened in that house. My son was born and died during the time we lived in that house. My youngest daughter, Hannah, was born. We started homeschooling there. I had a life-threatening illness and had many memories of friends coming to support me and help me. And there were holiday meals. There were ways that we had enjoyed that house. There were a lot of memories in that house. It was the house my husband lived in when we first met and then got married. So I allowed myself time to walk through the house. And some of the ways that you can let go of a home and come to an ending is to write a letter to the house, thanking it for holding a space for you during this time. You can invite friends to come over and have a party with you. You can reflect on things that you learned about yourself. And you may wonder why do I need to do that? And it's a way of acknowledging your feelings. It is a way of an acknowledgement of your life. It is a way of reflecting on your journey. And it will bring more of an awareness to the day-to-day life that you are living. I know that when I was evicted from an apartment in California, my daughter had moved to New York for a period of time, and so I was there by myself. And as I cleared out things and put them into storage and then got ready to move to share a space with a friend as a transitional space, I really took some time to sit in the apartment and to feel all of the feelings about things I had learned about myself while I was there. What was the life that I had experienced while I was there? And to take time. I remember going to the door and just walking through the apartment one more time, standing at the front door and saying thank you. Thank you for being a space that held me. This week I decided to merge a Facebook page that I started in 2011 with a new page that I was starting. And the old page was called Live a Life Worth Celebrating. That was a message that I had shared at the eulogy I gave for my husband in 2005. Was I shared the details of his life, and I invited the people who were there to live a life worth celebrating. It is a core piece of who I am. It is, you could say, my part of my inner home. Live a life worth celebrating. And what I realized when I was going to merge this old with the new was that I would be losing photos and memories that I had placed on that page. And on that page I had taken people on a journey of the 50 United States. I had shared peace prayers from 12 different religions. I had gone on a journey of connecting with people in a way that was part of my learning on coming onto Facebook. It was a home. And it felt like it served a purpose, and it was time to start in a fresh space and to connect the friends, the followers who are on that page. Connect the old with the new, but to let go also, to honor where that had been. So I spent a few days reading quotes and looking at photos and just remembering where I had begun and what I was exploring at that time, and bringing it into a new space where a conversation will be highlighted every month, where I am more anchored in my wisdom and knowing. A place to invite people into a new home. We're at a time in the world where there's so much change, and your home may be in a place of evolution. I have lived for 2.5 years now, living with Heal My Voice authors in different places around the world. I have lived in Sweden for a 6-week period. I've lived on the East Coast of the United States, in Baltimore, in Washington, in New York. I have lived on the West Coast in Los Angeles and San Francisco and Santa Cruz. I'm living right now in Seattle. And each of those experiences is about integrating the old into the new, having an experience, and then being willing to release it when it is time to move on to the next place. So I really encourage you to sit with this a little bit, to reflect on your home, the home that you are living in, and your inner home, the inner space, because really, this vehicle, this body that you have, this is your home that you take with you 24/7. All right, tomorrow I will be back for day 16 of 44 days of transforming grief. Thanks for being here, and please share this with anyone who you think would benefit from it.